What's up, everybody? This is Cody, and we are back. Fanduel, not DraftKings, drops pricing for opening night first and 5K to first. A absolute shocker for me. I was not expecting Fanduel to come out swinging with the $5,000 to first. I was expecting $2,000 at most. They've been really bad these past couple years. I haven't played on their site very much just because the contests have been so bad. Obviously, Caitlin Clark effect. Everywhere is going to go up. Obviously, seen the DraftKings 20K to first, but no pricing out yet. So we're starting on FanDuel today. Obviously, thank you if you're here watching the video. Hope you stick around. I'll be covering FanDuel and DraftKings all throughout the year. Roster breakdowns. Really excited for this season. But let's go over some spreads first for this 4-game slate. No over-unders posted yet, and they actually just pulled the Sun Fever. Sun were 5.5-point favorites playing at home. The other 3 games, you're going to see this a lot this season. Huge spreads. There's a wide margin between the good teams and bad teams. Liberty, huge favorite on the road, 13.5 points. Aces, 14-point favorites at home over the Mercury. That seems a little wide to me after what all the Mercury have done, but we'll talk about that shortly. Lynx, 10.5-point dogs on the road facing the New Look Storm. I think that line's a little wide too, but I imagine the last 2 games, the late night hammers, these are going to be the 2 games most people will want to target. There's obviously great plays in the early games, but these late games here, they're going to be the top 2 over-unders. All these teams want to run the ball. They want to play fast. Really like targeting those 2 games. But let's actually get into this first game here. We got New York at Washington. Obviously, already talked about the big spread. Brianna Stewart. I mean, nothing needs to be said. She's one of the best WNBA players in the league. 9K, most expensive player on the slate. Worth every penny if you can fit her. There is some salary savers here, so she is in play. Sabrina Ionescu, fine. She's a good point per minute player. 7.4K is pretty rich, but I mean she can break any slate. Obviously saw when Stewie joined last year, she kind of took a back seat at times. She still has slate breaking upside. Obviously, she's an elite 3-point shooter, can get hot any night. Brittany Sykes, we cannot forget about her. She's great on FanDuel. She gets blocks and steals. She's a great defender. 7K is a little steep, but Elena Deldon is priced $6,200 and is not playing this year. So please don't play her. She's not playing. Don't know why she's in the player pool, but Brittany Sykes is going to be asked to do a lot more on offense. And the times where the offense ran through her last year when they were just decimated with injuries, she had some really high-scoring games. She's going to be a great contrarian option throughout the season. If this game stays close, she's going to have a great game. Jonquel Jones, great fantasy point per minute player, always in foul trouble. Every time I play her, always in foul trouble. If you catch her when she's not in foul trouble, this price, she's too cheap. Just good luck. Don't know if she can stay out of foul trouble. Obviously, talked about EDD. Don't play her. She's not playing. Vandersloot at 6,100. Don't mind her. Offense is a little capped. She's not going to score much. If she does, she's going to break the slate. She's more of a facilitator out there just to get their top scorers the ball in great situations. Shakira Austin, really excited for her. She's one of my favorite players. She keeps growing her game. I love the price here. Just not sure on her minutes coming back from the hip. Hopefully she's fully healthy. I want to see this preseason game, see how many minutes she gets, how she looks. I'll know more as we get closer to lock. Atkins, love the price on her. She's not the greatest fantasy point per minute player, but she's a shooter, can get hot. She's not going to do many of the peripherals. She's just going to score. She's a good defender. She can get you some blocks and steals. The price is really good on her. She's priced down like she was last year. She's going to have to do more on this team. You got Benaj Laney, who is really cheap. She's going to be starting on a team that's loaded. Every now and then she can pop off. Aaliyah Edwards, I want to see what they do with her. Minutes in the first preseason game weren't the best, but she's going to play. This team's not going to be very good. Misha Hines Allen is fine. Not really interested unless she starts. Kayla Thornton's okay off the bench. Don't think you have to play her. You got Shatori Walker-Kimbrough and Carly Samuelson, both priced at $3.8K. One of these girls is probably going to start, so you're going to get a starter below $4K. Obviously, like the one who starts more, going to be in line for more consistent minutes. Both are not good fantasy point per minute players, but at this price, I mean, you're just playing them so you can fit in more studs. Stephanie Dolson is someone I do like because she started in the preseason opener, and if she starts again, she is one of the best cheap plays on this slate at 3.5K. Nobody else really down here that I would consider playing. I mean, unless there's a blowout, these people probably won't see very much run. Dolson, though, if she starts, great value at that price. All right, let's skip on to the Indiana and Connecticut game. This one everyone's looking forward to. Obviously, Caitlin Clark's debut. Everyone's talking about it. This is going to be a fun game because Connecticut always brings the defense. They will get up for anything, and to be Caitlin Clark's debut, they will not want to be embarrassed on their home court in her debut game. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas is a complete stat sheet stuffer. Sorry, can't talk. She's a stat sheet stuffer. She can do everything. She has block and steal upside. She is a great rebounder. She's a great passer. And when she is scoring and driving to the basket, she can nuke any slate. At 8,200, she is firmly in play if you can afford her. I love Aaliyah Boston this year. Those that know me know how high I am on her. Caitlin Clark's just going to open up so much for her. The price is steep. I think it will keep her ownership very low. Really interested to see what ownership she comes in at, but love her even at the steep price. Brianna Jones, they just made a trade for Queen Egbo this morning. Makes me wonder if Brianna Jones might not be ready for opening night. It's something to keep an eye on. I imagine she'll be limited if she is ready, which would hurt, obviously, her fantasy upside for opening night. DeWanna Bonner obviously can pop any slate. Some nights she wants to rebound, some nights she doesn't. Some nights she just wants to shoot. Some nights she just wants to be out there. Really, really tough to get her right, but when you do, she can win you a tournament on her own. Caitlin Clark, the phenom that everyone wants to talk about. She popped in her debut. She looked great. I think the stat line is very telling of how her rookie season is going to be. She scored 21 points. She shot 6 of 15, 5 of 13 from 3. So she only shot 2 field goals that weren't 3-point shots. That is very telling. You also see 3 rebounds, 2 assists. The 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers is a lot. I understand, like that's going to take her a while to adjust to that style of game. The 3-point shot is obviously going to translate immediately. Just worry if she's not hitting down her shots. The peripherals aren't going to be there like they were in college. She's not going to be a triple-double machine. She's not going to be a prolific rebounder in the WNBA. They're just too physical. But obviously she can absolutely nuke any slate she's on just with her shooting. If I'm imagining Connecticut puts Alyssa Thomas on her and just tries to put her in hell and just get as physical as they can with her. 6,600 is pretty cheap for I was expecting her to be a little bit more expensive. Obviously she's playable. Her upside is limitless. Nalissa Smith at 5,800. Love the price tag on her. When she's healthy and she wants to be out there and she doesn't get in early foul trouble, that is key. She can pop. Love the upside with her. Kelsey Mitchell, I really think Caitlin Clark just kills whatever upside she had. She's never been one to get the peripheral stats. She's always been scoring dependent. And with Caitlin Clark there, she's going to eat up a lot of her shots. So Kelsey Mitchell is not someone that I'm very high on this year. It would take an injury or something for me to have much interest in her at all. Mariah Jefferson, Tiffany Mitchell, DeJounte Carrington, they all kind of mesh. I don't know who's going to start for Connecticut. Obviously, like who starts more. I hope it's DeJounte Carrington. She's progressed every year she's been in the league. I think she's proven that she would be a quality starter for this team. Mariah Jefferson can be a good fantasy player if she's given the minutes. The past couple of years, you've seen her have a rough start to a game and get benched. I imagine it could be the exact same on this team. It doesn't matter where she plays. Her effort can be put into question when she has a rough start to a game. So she is risky, but she has upside, obviously. Erica Wheeler at 4K. I mean, one of Erica Wheeler or Katie Lou is going to start. And if it's Erica Wheeler at 4K, it's not pretty, but, I mean, 4K for a starting guard that has still upside and can get the peripheral stats. There's a lot worse plays you can make at $4,000. Everyone else down here, not really. I don't really have much interest in. Lexi Hull, just not a good fantasy point per minute player. I want to see how they utilize Rachel Banham. She's a good 3-point shooter. Not sure she's going to get very many minutes. Joshua Harris started some last year. If she starts, love her at that price. Queen Egbo mentioned it earlier. They traded for her earlier today. I'm recording this on Tuesday, 1 week before opening night. So obviously things could change. If Brianna Jones is out or limited, Queen Egbo should get extended some. And at 3.5K, it's a really good price for her. Don't think we see much Grace Berger or Christy Wallace with Caitlin Clark on the team. I mean, she's going to play low 30s minutes, I would imagine. Olivia Nelson-Nadota came on strong last year, especially after Brianna Jones went down. 3.4K. If, like I said, if Brianna Jones is limited or out for some reason on opening night, she would look fantastic at that price. Otherwise, there's not really anybody else here that we need to talk about. Let's move on to the late games, to our official late night hammers. This game, if Phoenix can keep this game close, oh boy, this one could pop. Because obviously Aces play extremely fast. They have elite fantasy talent pretty much everywhere. Phoenix can match that talent. I just don't know if they can keep this game close throughout the entirety of the game. I worry about their consistency and their bench production. Their bench production is going to be key for how far this team goes. Obviously, Asia Wilson at the top here, second highest priced player on the slate, the best fantasy point per minute player on Fanduel last season. 8,800 is still, if this game is close, she is going to absolutely nuke. Chelsea Gray, 7,600, solid price for her. She's a great facilitator. She can score. She plays great defense, has still upside. 7,600 is a little steep, especially when you look at the other guards. Jackie Young, 6,400. Kelsey Plum, 6,300. I would rather play them, but obviously tournaments, Chelsea Gray being the most expensive will make her the least owned. So obviously great play in tournaments. Then let's talk about Megan Gustafson, who I think will be the fifth starter for the Aces at 4,400. She is the best play on the slate, in my opinion, if she starts. An absolute must play if she starts. I just don't see him starting Kia Stokes. I think Gustafson gives them more floor spacing on offense, and she does everything that Stokes does, but better. That's why I think Gustafson will start. And if she does, she's the nuke play. I'll play her in every lineup that I play. Not much else for Vegas. I mean, you can play Kia Stokes. It's ugly. She's not a good fantasy point per minute player. Same with Alicia Clark. She's just not asked to do much. Everyone else on Vegas, just not much interest in. As for Phoenix, BG is priced up. Really tough to pay 7.5K for her. I mean, she's a fine contrarian play. I'm not really crazy about it. Kalia Copper at 7,100. I want to see how she meshes with this team before I endorse playing her. I just think that salary is a little too high for where she's at on this team. Natasha Cloud, she's fine. I'm kind of indifferent on her. Diana Taurasi, good old DT, year 20 at 5,900. She's going to chunk it. That's just what she does. If she doesn't get thrown out, I love her at the price. I mean, she's shown time and time again that you can never count her out. Good old Sophie at 5K. She's not a very good point per minute player, but she's a 3-and-D. She's a good three-point shooter. If they're falling, you could do a lot worse. 5K, the price is still, it's a little steep for me on a team where she's the fourth or fifth option on offense. Sugg Sutton off the bench is fine. Need to keep an eye on Rebecca Allen if she is healthy. I like her coming off the bench at 4,300. I think they're going to have to play her quite a bit. Their forward depth is abysmal. It's pretty much her and Morgan Birch off the bench. And they better pray to God BG don't get in foul trouble or get hurt, because they'll be playing small ball with everyone. And now the last game of the night, Minnesota at Seattle, the new look Storm. We've got, obviously, Nafisa Collier. Offense is going to run through her from Minnesota. She's a fantastic point per minute player. Really turned it on late in the season last year. Love her at 8K. I mean, she's $1,000 cheaper than Stewie, and has the same upside, maybe even more with this matchup, and I expect the game to be close and back and forth. So I love Fee here. Nneka Ogwumike comes over from LA. She did not look very good in the first preseason game. She just didn't look comfortable. I mean, she can play. It may take her a little time to get used to the new team environment, everyone she plays with. She's not the first option on the team, and I think she's okay with that. It's just going to take her a little while to develop that chemistry and get her shot down. Jewel Lloyd, she won't have to shoot the ball 25 times a game like she did last year. She won't lead the league in scoring this season, but she can shoot it. She has some still upside, but a lot of her points are going to be tied. A lot of her fantasy points are going to be tied to her actual scoring. Skylar Diggins-Smith absolutely nuked in 21 minutes. 14 points, 4 boards, 5 assists, 4 steals, and a block. That's like 40 fantasy points on Fanduel in 21 minutes. If this is what Skylar Diggins-Smith is bringing to the court, like she didn't miss all of last season, at 7,200, I am all the way in a matchup. Minnesota is one of the worst defensive rating teams in the WNBA. Love Skylar Diggins-Smith. Ezzie Magbegor should be back. She missed the first preseason game for rest. She's solid at 6,500. I think there's better plays, but she's a fine contrarian play. Courtney Williams moved over to Minnesota from Chicago this past season. She's going to be a quality option on offense for this team. They need other offensive options besides Fee. Fine with her at 5,700. I think the price is really good on her. Dorka was a sensation last year as a second-round pick to all-rookie first team. Love her at 5,500 as a cheap alternative forward option. Alana Smith they got from Chicago as well. She's a great defender. She has foul trouble concerns, but she has terrific block and steal upside. Diamond Miller, really excited for her. Really excited to see what she does in year 2. 4,900 is a great price. Kayla McBride, 4,800. She's gotten to be pretty scoring dependent, but, I mean, you got to know what you're getting out of her. I mean, she's a great shooter. She's a great 3-and-D. If the shot's falling, she can have a really good night for you. At 4,800, you could do worse. One of Sammy Whitcomb or Jordan Horston will start, depending on the matchup. I think they start Whitcomb. If they do, absolutely love her at 4,100. Great three-point shooter, and she will be open. She will get plenty of open looks on this team. Natasha Heidemann, I don't know what to say. She's just not it. Her fantasy point per minute is just really bad. Connecticut almost bounced her out of the rotation after starting her for so long in the playoffs, just because she just wasn't contributing the way they needed. Can pop in a random Thursday night, nobody cared game, 4K. I mean, if she starts, I don't think she will, but if she does, I mean, 4K for a starter, you can consider her. Victoria Vivens, if she was to start instead of Whitcomb or Horston, is fine. I would obviously if I had to rank them, I would rank them Whitcomb, Horston, Vivians. She would be my least favorite of the three. She would have the least amount of upside, in my opinion. Joyner Holmes played the backup 5 minutes over Dulcie. Now, obviously, that was without Ezzy. Ezzy's back. Mercedes will play the backup 5, so Joyner and Dulcie are pretty much out of play. Mercedes is pretty much out of play. She's not a very good point per minute player. But that wraps up the 4 games. As we get closer to tip, I just wanted to get this video out so everyone could just check it out, get my thoughts on the 4-game slate. Obviously, really excited if Megan Gustafson starts. That's one of the best plays we're going to get all season. If she does start, it's going to be awesome. Easily lock of the night. But that is all for me. If you want to leave a like so it reaches more people, hit that sub button, ring the notification bell so you can be notified for all my upcoming videos, and we'll see you later.